Samuel Hendricks wants to know, since alpha males play and beta males pay when it comes to finding a lover, why should a beta male bother? And how do you see this fitting in with the larger numbers of people not settling down, parentheses, marrying and having children around the world? Well, as you probably know by now, that is the perfect setup for an RK discussion, which we're not going to get into right now. But if you don't know the book, obviously Carlton, I'm never tired of promoting it. I'm sorry, Samuel. There's a book out called R/K, the something basis of politics by anonymous conservative. It's not an easy read, but it's the best thing I ever read. Just to answer your question, since it was ranked, let me just say this without getting into the whole RK thing all over again. You say your premise is since alpha males play and beta males pay when it comes to finding a lover, why should a beta male bother? It's not actually quite correct. What I think is the case, certainly what that RK book is saying, is that it is true that beta males don't win in competition. But to say that they don't get their shot at the ladies is to mistake the problem, because the problems we have are being caused by the fact that the beta males don't win in competition. So since they can't win in competition, they win by cheating. And that cheating is the source of so many of our problems, the societal cheating. Successful people, alphas, and it's not just males, successful people, alphas, like competition because they do well in competition. And when we lose a competition, if you're an alpha, and you lose in a fair competition, you would rather lose a fair competition than win by cheating because, number one, you have a moral code which is based on you being able to compete that says the rules are more important than the outcome for me particularly. I'd rather lose fairly than win by cheating because even if I lose, as long as it's a fair fight, I'll probably learn something from the loss and I'll become more fit as a result of it. I'll learn some lessons. I'll do better next time. That's an alpha attitude. It's the attitude of a winner. It's the attitude of somebody who can compete and win. If you're convinced for some reason or another that you have no chance to compete, then the ethical restraints of the alpha, namely playing by the rules, is a weapon that you can use against him. In other words, an alpha competitor will play by the rules because it's as instinctive in him as the act of competition is. If you're going to compete, you need rules. Wolves compete for mates, and they have rules regarding the mating fights that they do, because if they didn't, there'd be a lot of dead wolves. When a male wolf gives up the fight, he bares his neck, and the second he does that, it turns the aggression off of the victor. The victor just stops the aggression. Once the weaker combatant submits, the aggression's just turned off. Those are rules, and they're rules designed to protect us. And when somebody taps out on a mat or when somebody throws in a towel, that's the end of the fight, right? That's how it works with alphas. But betas are not bound by those honor codes because they don't have it in them. And so if I'm a beta and I say, hey, all these guys are playing by these rules, but there's nobody really checking on the rules or enforcing the rules. Therefore, if I break the rules, then I can win. Yeah, but it's not honorable. Who cares about honor? I don't care about honor. Yeah, but it's, it doesn't make you any stronger. You won't do any better next time. What do I care? I want to win now. And so that's it. So I think the premise is a little faulty, Samuel, just to say because beta males don't pay. Beta males can also play. And when they play by cheating, and cheating all across the board. So progressives are the betas and the conservatives are the alphas. You may not like it, but it's true. Alphas like competition. That's why we like capitalism. Progressives like non-capitalism. That's why they like these collectivist redistribution of equal parts of misery to everybody. You can say you'll live worse in a communistic society, and a beta will say, yes, but as long as I live equally badly and no one else is living better than me, I'd rather live worse, as long as we're all living worse, than to live better and have somebody live even better than me. It's hard to say. Hard to say. So there you go. And it's a societal cheating that gets us into all these problems, really, when you get right down to it. And election fraud is one of them. The progressives are all in favor of election fraud. That's why they don't want IDs. What's so bad about an ID? Well, it's racist. How's it racist? The ID doesn't care what color you are. Well, most black people, there are more poor black people than, there are a greater percentage of black people live in poverty than white people. What does that mean? IDs don't cost anything. You just have to go down to the DMV. Yeah, but they have to get to the DMV and maybe they have to take a bus. Well, I took bus for 4 or 5 years of my life. If you don't want to spend one bus fare and 2 hours of one day for 10 years or however long the ID lasts, maybe you don't deserve to vote. If you can't go and get a free ID because it's a lot of trouble, it takes 3 hours of your life, you don't have to do that every year. You don't even have to do it every election cycle. You probably have to do it every 10 years. If you can't go down and get a free ID, then maybe you don't deserve to vote. We want people to have IDs because we don't want them to cheat. They want people to not have IDs because they want them to cheat, because they can't win without cheating, apparently. That's why they want to have, instead of an election day, they want to have an election month. Well, you should be able to vote all month. Sure, you should be able to vote all month if you want to vote more than once. The reason we have an election day is because it's very damn difficult to vote in California and in Florida on the same day, or at least it used to be before jet travel. So, it's pretty straightforward. And so this is how you beat these people, by the way, is you call them out and say, so listen, conservatives think we need a voter ID because we don't want to cheat. What is it about your position that requires cheating? Are you saying you can't win without cheating? And you'll hear progressives say things like, well, voter fraud is not really as important as voter suppression. Denying somebody from their vote is a real crime. If somebody votes more than once, well, that's not as bad as denying somebody from their vote. But voter fraud is voter suppression, because if a progressive votes 3 times, then their first vote, their legal vote, cancels this conservative's vote out. Fair enough, that's how it works. Their second vote steals the vote of an actual conservative who only voted once, and their third vote steals the vote of yet another person who only voted once. So that person who votes 3 times has stolen the vote, suppressed the vote of 2 people that he voted against. Voter fraud is voter suppression. So there you go. So ask them why they have to cheat. Do you have to cheat to win? Is that what you're saying? Is you saying that your politics and your philosophy is so bad that you have to cheat to win? Because if it is, come out and tell the American people right now in this debate, Ms. Clinton, come out and tell the American people that you believe that Democrats have to cheat in order to win. Because I'm saying that voter ID is neutral. It's party neutral. Voter ID, I didn't say we only need IDs for Democrats. I didn't say we only need IDs for liberals. I didn't say we only need IDs for black people or poor people or Hispanic people, and not for white people. I'm saying everybody needs to have an ID. Everybody needs to show it on election day. And if you are not in the country, if you are physically out of the country and can prove it, you get an absentee ballot. Otherwise, you go down and vote on election day. Now, if you don't think that those rules are important, explain to the American people why the Democrats have to cheat to win. Because I don't think the Republicans have to cheat to win. I think if we play fair, we win. So tell me why you have to cheat. Go right to the heart of it and make them say it. Make them say it. You need an ID to cash a check. You need an ID to buy a beer. You don't need an ID to run the most powerful nation in the world. Call it what it is. And then if you want to pile on, say, Eric Holder, who's so against the idea of IDs in general as being racist and horrible. If you want to go and thank Eric Holder for his magnanimity, you have to show an ID to get into the Justice Building. Why is that, Mr. Holder? Why do you need an ID to come into the Department of Justice Building, but you don't need an ID in order to fund the Justice Department building? Somebody want to explain that to me? Doesn't make any sense to me. So there you go.